Game number 5, ladies and gentlemen. A huge game number 5. There's no second chance in this tournament. So this best of 5 comes down to the wire here. Kimo has played all 3 Egyptian gods though thus far. He's got no Egyptian left in this series. What does that mean for Kimo? Means he's only got, well, I mean, what else is he going to pick? Now, the thing is, I think Kimo can play every single god at a really high level. He played in the Fimbulwinter Championship over with AOL Iron Maiden. He played Norse and came 3rd, which means his Norse is at the top level, at least in a Norse mirror. Then you have, well, obviously his Egyptian is top level, but he's been playing a lot of Greek lately. I think his Zeus is really strong. And then way back in the earlier times, he would always pull out Oranos and Atlantean in tournaments as well. So I wouldn't be surprised to see Atlantean here in this map, on this matchup from Kimo. Count Von Count, on the other hand, he still has his Thor remaining. So Count Von Count has played a lot of Norse in this series. He's having a lot of success with Norse. I wouldn't be surprised to see Norse here again, even if it's a low hunt map on a secluded expanse. However, there's also, he doesn't have Zeus remaining. He still has Ra here. He still has Ra, which is a big thing. Secluded Expanse, for you guys who don't know, is an Oasis style map. So we'll have to wait and see what's going to happen here. Is going to get this game underway here, ladies and gentlemen. Spawning in the top of the map in the blue color, playing as Zeus. His name is Kimo. His opponent today in the red color, playing as Oranos. His name is Count Von Count. We see, I get it wrong here. I get it wrong, ladies and gentlemen. I did say Kimo probably could play Greek. I thought he was going to play the Atlantean here. Get it completely wrong. Count Von Count goes with his Oranos on this map. Kimo goes in with his Zeus, and both of these gods make a lot of sense on this map. It's got a very, very high amount of hurtables, which means that if for Kimo, if he's playing against Ra here, he can go for a really big boom off of 3 talents and just take this game late game and try and win from that perspective here. If he's playing against Atlantean here, he's got a completely beautiful time to play with Centaur here and not have to worry too much about it. We do see this Oracle here stealing away some goats here as Kimo's going to start slapping that Oracle back, trying to pull his goats back home. Going to continue to move around the map, trying to find as many hurtables as he possibly can here. It's super important to find as many as you can. Kimo making a big mistake here, harassing this Oracle. You got to scout, because at the moment here, Count Von Count is scouting with basically 2 units here. And he's finding a lot of hurtables. So this matchup here is going to come down to, 1, the hurtable count you find. 2, the micro of those centaurs is going to be absolutely huge. And 3, it's going to come down to if Count Von Count can get Kimo out of this game fast enough or not. We'll see how it's going to go, because Kimo didn't have Hades here. I think he would have loved to play Hades in this matchup as well. Just go for a solid 2 town center defensive play and see how he's going to go. But yeah, this is going to be a spicy one, ladies and gentlemen. I love this matchup. There's lots of different options here. I don't think you can realistically go for Athena on a map with such low hunt. You do get 3 giraffes here and 4 zebra on this map. So a decent amount of hunt, but it's not the max amount. It's not the smallest amount, but a decent amount. But it's still not enough for an Athena. You could potentially attack this hunt early enough here to try and take it for yourself. There's probably going to be baboons. There are baboons on this map as well to eat, but as Greek, you don't really like baboons that much. It's hard to kill them underneath the ground. It's super inefficient. Kind of need to get yourself husbandry if you want to go over and eat them there. But we'll see. We'll see how it's going to go. I imagine that Kimo's going to go in with Centaur. I think there's, yeah, I can't see him going to town center, but he might. I think the more big question is, what's Count Von Count going to do? Now, I'm under the opinion here in this matchup that Oranos have been playing it just a little bit wrong recently. I think I've come with the conclusion that double Murmillo to start this one off is much, much better. Even on a slow hunt map, double Murmillo is the way to go. Double Barracks is the way to go in this matchup for the main reason that Terma end up being a liability in this matchup. Now, you can do something like go 6 Terma at the start and then drop the military barracks and go into mass Murmillo, but I don't think like there's really much point in that. So just to talk a little bit about the strategy, all you need to do is get yourself enough wood to get yourself husbandry, 2 barracks, and a manor, and then you take the villager off of wood, so you only have 1 villager on wood, chuck him over onto herdables, and then you just eat those herdables, eat your chicken, and you can spam Murmillo very, very easily from 2 barracks as an idea. And there is plenty of herdable here. 12 herdable for Count Von Count to Kimo's 8. So a slight win here in the early game for Count. We'll see how he's going to go for it as these villagers finishing up on the giraffes over here. Plenty of villagers on this location. No sort of valor on this will be really worth it. I'd love to see Count Von Count sending his oracles back home. He does find some more goat here as the villagers are going to continue to eat these giraffe right next to this manor, but there is already a Jason out and he knows exactly where he's going to go. We do see the ring of Nibelung here for Kimo. That one's going to be a big deal here. 18 free gold per minute. So he's going to bring that back home, or is he going to go for the harass early? Is the big question. Obviously, if he brings it back, he gets the gold faster. If he goes forward, he takes away some of his opponent's resources early in the game. And we do see him retreating back, and Count Von Count doesn't get punished for not bringing his oracles back home, but he does find this relic over here, the flagstone of Buhen, or Buhen, probably Buhen. Negative 25% wall gold cost here. We'll see how that's gonna go, as we do see 1 counter barracks, 1 military barracks. Nothing too crazy here from Count Von Count, even though I don't agree with it. He does go for it, as hand axe is coming through as well for Count Von Count. Obviously getting all the wood income possible is very important. And the relic does come through for Kimo, as he's immediately going to be going in with Sylvan Law. He doesn't actually end up getting himself that Odysseus straight away. An interesting decision here from Kimo. Generally speaking, I think the best build orders here, you've got a couple of different options. So the best build orders here can get you an Odysseus and Sylvan Law, or can get you Odysseus, a second centaur, and the military academy all thrown down at the same time. And Kimo does something a little bit strange here. I think he's kind of messed up the macro just a little bit, or spent some resources elsewhere. Yeah, he got husbandry, so that's why. So I actually kind of like that play, getting husbandry nice and early here. As we do see the Count Von Count units coming through here, going to get pushed back by that centaur. Good defensive play at the start of the game here from Kimo. I think he realizes that while he could potentially push off this hunt, it doesn't really matter that much. And he's going to allow Count Von Count to come to him straight away. And unfortunately for Count Von Count, he does convert 2 of those Terma to heroes instead of 2 of those Murmillo, which you generally want, as we will be seeing that Promethean offspring getting cleaned up there. The bolt goes down onto that hero Murmillo very, very quickly. And the army of Count Von Count is going to have to start moving back. At this point here, Count Von Count has got the military advantage here. We see more units coming out here for Count Von Count, as a manor going to be coming down as well. And we'll see how he's going to go, what he's going to be raiding. So the reality of this game is that the Oranos player doesn't have that much stuff to raid. So what should he be trying to do, as the centaur going to be looking for some raids himself? There's not really enough here to get a village pick, but there needs to be a house over where these villages are. So we just see the Kimo centaur searching around, trying to find a villager. Not really much left here, as the Valor should be coming up fairly soon here for Count Von Count, as we will be seeing a unit getting picked off here. I like that play here from Kimo. Exactly what you need to be doing here, as we see a hero Terma getting converted there by Count Von Count to send those guys back as the units pushing through here. Lots of dead Atlantean units coming through, as Kimo defends this one absolutely perfectly thus far. This has been the story of the series, has been Kimo defending and Count Von Count trying to put pressure on, and each game being a very different situations. We do see that the shockwave comes in, and we see the ceasefire coming down here from Kimo. This is something that I like to do. I don't like to lose any centaur early here to a shockwave. Just trade the ceasefire for a shockwave, and it keeps you out of problems for a long time. as it looks like Kimo's actually going for a town center here behind this. So from that ceasefire there, very interesting as we see another Valor coming down. And yet again, Count Von Count deciding to go for Terma here instead of Murmillo. I'm not sure I agree with that. As a stable is coming up, Kimo's going to have to start throwing farms down. I do like this town center by Kimo on this map. Now, generally speaking, if there's exposed gold mines like this secluded expanse map, I like staying one town center if I can. But on a map like this, with such low hunt, not able to grab that hunt, I think that the better option is to grab the second town center and just try and take the game late game as best as you can as Zeus. You're not going to get a gold staff here. You're not going to get any sort of Mythic Age, Hera, Bellerophon, Medusa shenanigans happening. It's going to be a tough game if you try and go for that. So Kimo going for this makes a lot of sense. Going to start those villages up and start getting himself more and more farms here. As the centaur come through, they're going to be trying to snipe down. Beautiful micro there from Kimo as the army coming on to the back. One thing that people don't really know, or it's kind of a little bit difficult to explain, but what you want to do is you actually want to separate your Murmillo from your hero Terma so that when your Murmillo actually get an attack onto the centaur, it snares them, which slows the speed down below 5 speed, which allows the Terma heroes to actually get a little bit of damage done onto them, as opposed to just throwing the spears that they're not going to hit. Basically, if the centaur are moving, they're not going to hit, so don't make them attack. So you want to get one Murmillo to attack, and then the other Terma to attack while that Murmillo is attacking, and then they will hit that centaur more often than not. As the unit's starting to push through over here, we do see a nice defense from Kimo as the town center is coming up over here for Count Von Count over there. As the unit's pulling back here for Kimo. Oh, he does get one shot there, so maybe I told a lie, and it is possible for the Terma to hit a moving centaur, but it's very, very rare. Kimo still producing his centaur out. He's getting his farms down very, very slowly. He's playing it very, very slow. 78 of 90 population right now as the unit's pushing through over here. We still haven't seen the micro here from Count Von Count to get in onto those Terma over there. He's trying to keep his heroes alive. It is vitally important to keep your heroes alive here. Good micro here from Kimo. As soon as he sees those Terma turning around, pulls his centaur back. We're still seeing these centaur getting chased around over there as it seems like Count Von Count has to retreat back here. He's going to be pulling away at this point. Hasn't lost any heroes here, but he hasn't dealt much damage to those centaur at all. As we do see these centaur coming over here, will we see any attacks done, any damage? Yes, he does. He gets right next to the centaur, gets a big amount of damage done there. Doesn't pick off the centaur there just yet. Count Von Count, 2 town centers and armory going to be coming up here as he's going to be attempting to get to the next age. I like this idea potentially going for Thea here. Alternative like Thea or Hyperion. I think it's just up to personal preference. He is picking Hyperion. You get to chaos your opponent's units. It's a decent idea, but Count Von Count's population, very, very low, and he's going to be out of gold here. So I think a very important thing he's going to need to do is drop a palace over here on this position to deal with that and make sure he can get himself that safe second gold mine. As we do see some military barracks coming down, the Terma coming through onto this position over here. The centaur are already in position over here, and he does get, again, a little bit of damage there, but not quite able to pick off the centaur, as another group of centaur going to be swinging around onto the top side of the map as this gold mine just about to expire here. He might be able to spot this one as we see the villagers do move over onto this gold mine. He has enough resources to drop a palace down immediately, but is he going to go for that, or is he just going to try and get to the Mythic Age? Oftentimes we do see that as the choice there. So we go, the villagers are going to move straight in onto these centaur here. Count Von Count might notice it as the blue dots come through. They are all hero citizen though, so they are more than capable of defending for themselves against those centaur. As there's the heroic age in. Will we see any sort of chaos get dropped down onto this position as the centaur over here? Nice marker there from Kimo, still keeping those alive over here. As the chaos not dropped down just yet. The Terma retreating away. It's a bit surprised to see him not use it on this position. It's kind of max value as it is. As we see these Terma still trying to focus over here. There he goes with that chaos. One fairly low HP centaur will get taken down. The rest of those units going to get cleaned up as well. As Count Von Count looks like it looks like he's not going for the Mythic Age, or not going for a... Oh, I actually don't know what he's doing here. Normally Hyperion indicates you want to go for a Heroic Age kind of all in some regard, but we see the units pushing forward over here. The Term are going to come in. Will they pick off a Centaur? First Centaur down! Tango down! As more Centaur getting picked off over here, as the units are pushing through, we do see the Centaur retreating back to go down. One hero Terma gets picked off for 2 Centaur there. Good play as the Satyr pushing through over here. Going to be able to do a lot of damage. Still should pull those hero Terma back away. You can leave the human units there. As Count pulling back into his town center. Still under a lot of pressure here from Kimo, as he is doing a really nice job of defending in this game. We see the Terma getting pulled back over here again as Kimo's now ready to start putting the pressure on, as Count trying to defend as best as he can. He's got himself 76 favor in the bank. Imagine if those were all Satyr at this point. Could be a completely different story. There's the shockwave coming down, hitting all of those Centaur. Looks like the Terma push in, almost picking off one of them. He picks off 2 on the outsides there. And Kimo has to pull back here, as Kimo is realizing maybe a little bit too aggressive here. Throwing some more military buildings down. Archery ranges going down. A good idea here for Kimo to get himself those units, which are going to be able to deal with those infantry units coming through here. But this is definitely a problem now that Kimo is going to have, and that's this gold mine over here, being the second gold mine. It's just about expired in the main base. 900 gold remaining here, as we see a mana coming through over here. The Terma coming in onto this position, defending against those Centaur. Not paying attention to this point, as they do kind of... He kind of just misses there as the villagers swinging over here to grab this town center on this position. As now Count's going to move forward. He realizes potentially gold mine over here to get taken out, but spreading his army very thin here, chasing those Terma away as this town center going up. This is definitely not a building the Count wants to see Kimo getting up. So Kimo getting this one here is going to be absolutely huge for him, because it kind of helps him defend this gold mine, kind of helps him grab this gold mine over here, and that's going to be enough there to allow Kimo to get to the late game, and he's going to have a really, really good time there against this Oranos here. This Count's going to be retreating back. Both players are going to be getting their third town center at roughly the same period here, as this Terma getting picked off here. Beautiful micro there, though, by Kimo, preventing the Terma heroes from getting in there, as Count retreating back home at this point, trying to produce as many units as he possibly can here. But his army quality is just not the same as Kimo's. Zeus has just got that advantage here at this point. As we see the hoplites getting cleaned up over here, we will be seeing the Jason getting taken down, Apollo coming through. Count still not building those Satyr, which is just so vitally important in this matchup, as the Hero Momilo coming through here. A little bit of a misclick there by Kimo as he targets the Lion, but these Centaur getting sent all the way back here, as the Terma here trying to pick off the final Centaur. And we will be seeing that Hero Momilo manages to do that, picks off all of those units of Kimo, but Kimo gets himself the third town center. He's got himself the Toxotes here. Count also has his own third town center over here. He's got his farm set up, economic upgrades at this point. He's got bowsaw, irrigation, and pickaxe. Over here we see Kimo here with just the... Wait, what's that? Plow and hand axe there. No pickaxe just yet for Kimo, but he's getting it now, as well as bowsaw. Bowsaw is a really big upgrade for Greek players, for those of you who don't realize. It gives you a huge boost to the economy in those positions there. But we're going to start seeing Count swinging around here, looking to get some damage done potentially over onto this gold mine over here. As he does finally start moving over there, he sees that the units are defending there, but Apollo now in for Kimo. We'll see what he's going to do with that. Undermine over here, or just simply save it for another time. Wouldn't go straight as well, as the units here for Count pushing in, going to potentially pick up a villager. He does manage to take one of those down, but I mean, villager differential here, 28 villagers to 80. So you look at the 28 villages, it technically is around about like 86 villages, but it's 2.5, not 2.5 times really, rather than 3 times, even though we think about it as 3 times, but it's not. So Kimo actually in a really, really good position now. He's moving up to these top gold mines over here, spreading his villages around the map, trying not to lose too many of those as he brings these villages back into his main base. Could potentially come over onto this wood line, doesn't really matter. as he's got plenty of villagers on gold here. And Hecate, now the god of choice here, is Underworld going to be coming through onto this position. Does he have the hoplites here to take down a town center? He does have himself 7 hoplites here, as the army very much out of position here for Count Von Count. He's got a handful of units over here as the town center going to start getting taken down. We see Masons coming through. This is a really big timing here. Imagine if Count Von Count didn't click Hecate here and went Helios. I think Helios has got to be the better option. If it's past 15 minutes, Helios, I would pick Helios every single time, I would assume. As we do see a handful of units coming over here trying to take down these trying to take down these Toxotes here, but you got to focus on those hoplites here to hold on to this position, as we do see a chaos onto this position. Absolutely huge. The Manticore coming through, pick off a whole bunch of villages over there, as well as the Gaia units coming through, as more hoplites coming in. The Masons did come through. This citizen will be getting sniped down as the units trying to make their way back here. It's a very, very long time here for Count Von Count to get back. Does he have Shockwave or something to give himself just a little bit more time over here? It looks like he doesn't. And this means Kimo is going to have a really fantastic time himself. We do see the Satyr going to be swinging in onto this position. It's a little bit too early, though. Looking for some sort of a Tartarian gate, maybe onto the temple or something. He wouldn't go astray as the town center does go down, but this means that Kimo is going to be able to retreat back through the Underworld, deal with that very, very easily. We see the villagers coming over here, going to try and take down these Arcus over on this position, as the Satyr moving through here, searching for the perfect place to drop a Tartarian gate. As the Hecate does come through, that's going to be the temple, giving himself the Lampede here. That hoplite does go down. Villagers should move over there immediately to deal with that. As now we see Kimo swinging around onto this town center, going to grab this one down. As the Satyr coming through over here, we see the Tartarian gate getting dropped down. It's going to hit this gold mine and this town center over here, potentially hit some houses to boot here as well. As the units coming over here trying to defend this location, with the towns that are going down very, very fast. As Count Von Count, we see Hera coming through here for Kimo as well. Very spicy pick here from Kimo, as this game is, Kimo says it's time to finish this game off here. Picking off a whole bunch of units with Hera, as well as getting the Medusa and getting the Belleroth on out. It's going to be absolutely huge, and he does manage to take this town center as well, as Count Von Count is in a lot of trouble here, sitting at 125 or 115 population over here. That Lampede is getting absolutely destroyed by the Odysseus here as well. As plenty of units through for Kimo. He's starting to take this Tartarian gate down, as the Heracles is here as well to deal with this beautifully over here, but just not that many units here at the moment for Kimo. He's got plenty of resources coming through. Villagers over here. We see the town center attempting to come back over onto this position, but the Underworld still sitting nicely there, as the army for Kimo going to push over here to try and deny this for the time being. As now we see some villagers getting pulled off over here to try and finish off this Tartarian gate. Yes, there is Masons, but no Architects here, so it will go down eventually. As the Toxotes getting some good damage done as well. The Heracles trying to get some kills over here. Villagers dropping a little bit for Kimo. But this position over here looking like it's getting denied, as we see a palace trying to get shot up on this position. A little bit too slow, as we do see the Satyr coming through trying to delete all of these Toxotes over here. As the villagers going down, and Kimo has managed to take so many town centers down. We see the destroyers coming through now for Count Von Count, trying to take out this town center on the front. As the Tartarian gate gets taken down, the hero is going to be able to deal with those Tartarian spawns beautifully over here. As the palace gets denied over on this position, we might see villagers trying to grab this town center up over here, but Kimo is moving back and forth beautifully on this position, as we see fortified town centers coming through. A fire siphon coming in onto this position, going to be deleting Kimo's town center. Kimo going to be losing a town center here. That's absolutely huge, as this game is not close to over here, ladies and gentlemen, but Hera is in. Lightning Storm will be available here. Also, the Medusa coming in. Medusa raids are absolutely real for the Zeus player. Also, Bellerophon raids are very, very tough to deal with. But Medusa raids are something you don't see very often, as it does pop through onto this position. We do see the Momilla able to take it out, though, as Kimo throws that one away, unfortunately, there. As the units do push that fire siphon back. You do have the units ready here for Count Von Count to get this town center up, but he just doesn't have the resources for it just yet. He will be getting this palace up now over here, as we see the Lightning Storm getting dropped down. Will these citizens go down or not is the big question. He does manage to get the palace up, and the garrison inside the palace there. as Kimo gets a whole bunch of damage done onto Count Von Count's economy here. It's 120 max population for Count Von Count to 130 max population for Kimo, as Kimo's trying to get his town center back up over here. Not really many villages on this favor over here as this state's here taking down some villages. We do see a Tonki Garavan trade route starting over here as well as the units getting pushed in onto this position. But Count Von Count making fanatics here as they will be able to pop out and deal with these Toxotes very, very easily here if he wants to. Still pressure onto this position over here as the palace trying to get repaired back up, trying to keep it alive as the Lampede coming in onto this position. We do see some Arcus coming through here as well as the Fanatics pop through, going to be taking out those Toxotes, leaving the palace alive. The town center coming up over here and over here as both players in a very, very strange position here as now the Citizen can start trying to pull up or build up this town center over here as the the palace building a fire siphon here to take out the Underworld passage and stop this pressure from coming through. As Kimo still trying to find somewhere to attack on this map, putting pressure everywhere. The gold mine does finish up over here as the villagers will move over onto this gold mine, but Kimo's spidey senses tingling here as the villagers, they're going to get spotted here, it seems. Kimo didn't notice it as he does move straight onto that gold mine there as the villagers coming over, but he will go straight to this gold mine. There's no defenses over here for Count Von Count. Losing those citizens is going to be brutal as we do see these Fanatics getting taken out very, very easily by those Surpassers. The Toxotes over there throwing those away a little bit too easily there as the Underworld does go down. The town center going to be coming back up. The villagers making a break for it here as they are a little bit speedy for 3.25 speed. Though 4.3 speed and 4.7 speed for those hoplites is very much. We do have some defenses over here for Count Von Count to help his citizen out, as I feel like Count Von Count can just send a whole bunch of villagers up to these gold mines. He should be completely fine on that position there as you see some destroyers coming into this palace there looking to take this location out. As now we've got that Bellerophon through, things starting to look very scary here for Count Von Count, because once Kimo gets himself the Heliopoli out and the economy going, it can be very tough to win for an Oranos player in the late game here. So now we do see the units pushing through for Count Von Count. He's sitting at 150 or 160 population. Kimo also sitting at high population, but because he went through Hera here, you won't have access to the cheap armory, so there's not going to be that weird timing where the Greek player gets to full iron and the Oranos player is still stuck at like copper armor. As these units getting chased around, beautiful micro here from Count Von Count, doing a little bit of a manra-ing, a little bit of a throwback there. He does manage to deal with most of those there. As the army pushing through over here, need to start getting some towers or something up on this position to help out. And he's definitely right. He needs to put pressure onto this, but I think picking off villages on gold is going to be vitally important as well, as the army coming through for Kimo to try and take down these villages. But these 4 Arcus going to be more than enough to deal with these bad boys. So we do see some cheeky raids coming in onto these villages over here to take those out. As the Heliopoli is down, look at how little damage these destroyers do to the Heliopoli. As the citizen coming through, we do see Kimo reacting very, very early here to this. And we'll see if Count Von Count is going to work this one out, because you can't really go in with mass Toxotes against Zeus. It just doesn't really work. You need something to deal with the enemy units here. As we do see Kimo moving his Toxotes forward, trying to get nice and close to those Arcus here. Not sure exactly what the purpose of that was, but we do see the Fire Siphon fighting against the Heliopoli. Who wins this fight? Looks like it's very, very close here, in all honesty, with the help of those infantry units to win that one. I think the Fire Siphon would have eventually won that fight there. Because we got the Toxotes coming through over here, going to take out the heavy Hypaspis and go after those villages yet again. But Count Von Count, he's not really moving around the map that well to hit the raids at this point. As the units trying to take down this palace, we will be seeing the Heliopoli getting cleaned up here, but it looks like the palace is going to go down first. As Count Von Count is just mostly just these archers here. He can't really make it work. He needs something different. He's getting himself coinage now. Get himself a little bit more gold in the bank. 8 llama caravans to the 10 donkey caravans of Kimo. As Kimo's economy here is just incredibly strong. I guess you can buy some food at this point as well, if you want, to allow you to get yourself a little bit more food-based units. But one thing that Count Von Count really shouldn't be doing at this point is auto-queuing Arcus. This is something I've talked about a little bit, about late-game shenanigans. You get your Arcus to a number that you're happy with, and the same thing goes for Kimo here. You get your Arcus to a number you're happy with. Say it's 10, say it's 15, whatever the number is. And then you just cut them, because all of your food-based units are going to get picked off, and these Arcus here, you don't need to rebuild them because they're not dying very rarely. So you can manually, I think manually training archers here is the way to go in the late game. But I think somewhere between 10 and 15 is kind of a healthy number to have, or maybe even a little bit less here. But it does look like Kimo is struggling a little bit to continue population over here. It looks like he's going for a raid down the bottom with his infantry units moving around onto this town center, as it does look like the town center gets very, very close to falling here. This Heliopoli at 6 HP might be enough to take down the town center, though it looks like the town center will pick that one off already. Very close there. Town center here does end up falling, though, as the villagers stop repairing it. No, they're keeping it alive with barely enough HP here, as the unit's sticking in onto this position for Count Von Count. He's trying his darndest to keep this one alive. It's sitting at 20 HP as the final Hippaspa is going to go down. The villagers do manage to keep this one alive. Look at the raids coming through by that Bellerophon. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 citizen getting taken, 4 citizen getting taken down there by that Bellerophon. Bellerophon, such a strong raider. I talk about that all the time. It's such a great usage of that hero. As we do see some units coming over here for Count Von Count, the Heliopoli coming in. Will it be able to do anything there? As we do see the llama caravans getting taken down, as Kimo's late game here is starting to flourish in this game. As the Heliopoli gets pushed back, Count Von Count still alive in this one. He's gone for some raids up on the top location over here. Sends a handful of those medium Contarias through to pick off villagers, as Kimo not paying attention on that location. 19 citizen remaining here for Count Von Count. Is he training his villagers back? Kind of. You kind of don't need to get back up to 25 population as long as you're still building trade. Now we see the Bellerophon back into the main army over here. Can be able to move in. And Bellerophon, we talk about it, but Bellerophon with Micro can pick off like infinite archers in a way. Jump in, pick off an archer, walk back and forth for 20 seconds, jump in, pick up another archer, walk back and forth. Such a strong unit. Alternatively, you can just use the Heliopoli and sit that in front of the Arcus as well. Count Von Count, he is struggling a little bit for resources here. He's throwing down a palace on this gold mine over here. He's going to be sending some villagers over there, as the Bellerophon now going to be searching around for another gold mine. As citizen retreating or moving back up onto this position. Champion infantry now coming through for Kimo, as he's starting to set up a fortress on this town center over here. As the Heliopoli does end up going down, but this fortress going up is going to be absolutely huge. As we see the Bellerophon searching around here, we do see some Arcus in open. Look at that! Just jumps in, one bangs the Arcus, and then just leaves. Doesn't take a single point of damage there. Absolutely brutal. As the Arcus trying to push through, trying to take out all those Toxotes over here as well. Villagers pulling back over on this position here, not able to get the fortress up just yet. As the Bellerophon moves back into this location, can jump in onto an Arcus, pick that off, pick off a couple more units. Kimo microing this one so much here in this game. One of the weaknesses of a unit like the Bellerophon and the Son of Osiris is that you have to spend so much time microing it that you can't do tons of side builds. It's funnily enough. I mean, side builds don't take a whole lot of time, so you just have to pull the unit back, side build, and then start attacking again. But see how it's going to go as these units do deal with this over here. They take out the market. Is there another market somewhere else? Yes, there is, up on this position with a palace in it. And we are seeing Count Von Count doing he's almost patented at this point. He loves this play where he just builds units into a palace. And once he gets enough of them, he sends them off to go and put some pressure onto his opponent, trying to catch them off guard. As here's the thing that's important right now. The Zeus economy for Kimo is just getting really big. He's able to get champion infantry, champion archers in front of the heavy upgrades for Count Von Count. And I think a lot of this is actually from the raids that Kimo's managed to do in this game. As you do see, Count on Count still trying to do these little mini Arcus raids on this top location there. I wouldn't mind seeing like a citizen move forward and just slap a palace down over here. That would be a really good idea, but we just see Arcus moving up there for the time being. But the thing is that as Kimo's raids keep moving forward, his armory upgrades are going to get further and further in front, and it's just going to become an insurmountable position to come back from. We got those 8 destroyers now in for Count Von Count. Where is he going to send them? What is he going to go for? Is Kimo going to notice it? That's the big question. This is a really big play here for Count Von Count. He's sitting at 128 of 160 population to make this work as his units come through, and we already see the Hypaspist here. And they do so much damage to these destroyers. The destroyers only got 37% hack armor. The champion Hypaspist do 275% bonus damage versus them. The town center is going down. There is no masons here, so we'll be getting a decent amount of damage done to the town center. But these Hypaspists should be able to deal with this fairly easily here. As the fortress is up now on this town center, Heliopoli are going to be coming through. And Count Von Count's going to have a difficult time dealing with this as the destroyers all go down. The town center going to be getting repaired back up in this location, and all Kimo needs to do now is get himself out the siege tower or a wall here in a Petropolis. So you do see these Arcus. They are getting a good a lot of hindrance here onto the trade route of Kimo. So you do see Athenian wall actually coming through here. That's a little known upgrade here. It gives yourself wall hit points, I think, and building hit points. So actually is really strong. As there's the Heliopoli coming through. Count Von Count at 147 of 160 population. The Hypaspist coming through to take out this fortified town center here with the help of the Heliopoli. There's not a whole lot of units here to defend this. We do see the citizen coming through to try and shank down this Heliopoli. Will it be enough though? Is the big question. There's just so many units on this town center for the time being. There is only masons as well for Count Von Count. So sitting here at just a handful of HP remaining as the citizen retreating back to try and repair this one up. There's a little known, well, I mean, it's not little known, it's a fairly known fact that there's a little mechanic where if you right click on the town center to repair it and then garrison and then set the rally point on the other side of the town center and use the ungarrison hotkey, the villagers will jump through and immediately start repairing on the other side of the town center. As this Bellerophon coming back over here, we do see the raid coming through here as the Bellerophon tries to jump in and take down another citizen. It's getting taken down over there as Kimo is just he's just on the map too well. We do see Count Von Count getting some serious damage done over onto Kimo's trade route over here with these Arcus, but is it enough here? Is it really doing anything to Kimo at this point? As it seems to me that Kimo is able to support everything he's producing right now. As we see the villagers moving forward to grab this town center over here. Champion infantry finally coming through for Count Von Count as he's cut population down to 140. We see the 31-minute Promethean coming through. That's a big desperation move. Maybe a mistake of production there. You know, he's building them on purpose. Promethean coming through to try and hold on to this town center. They do get that 5 crush damage, but they're so weak. They're absolutely so weak. But now we see the Heliopoli coming through onto this town center. The citizen over here getting targeted down very quickly by the hoplites over here to take this one down. As the citizen, they're not strong enough to survive here, really, against those hoplites. As we see the pallets also getting taken down over here. Will it go down? It does go down as the Heliopolis also gets picked off as this town center now trying to get shot up here for Kimo. Kimo's going to go up to 4 town centers to 2 town centers. He's in a very strong position here as these citizen will be able to finish off this final Heliopoli, but it's getting closer and closer to falling as now we see the infantry going to be moving forward here to try and take this down. We even got Myrmidon into this game here as well as the town center does get up here for Kimo. And Kimo's now got 4 town centers to 2 town center advantage. The raids hitting everywhere on the map. Military barracks coming up for Count Von Count as well. As the army pushing through here. We go for the main base over there as the town center does end up falling. As the Bellerophon going to pick off another citizen. I wish there was a stat to see how many citizens Bellerophon has killed. Wish there was a stat for that, but oh well. Now that's full countdown to 1 town center, and in the 33rd minute of this game, he has to tap out. Kimo lives another day here. That was a incredibly tight match there. Count had a lot of opportunities to win in those other 2 games, but this one was just played too perfectly by Kimo. He played it so absurdly well here. I think Count needed to go through Helios here, utilize the Vortex to deal with the Underworld, and then Vortex again to take down a town center, Vortex again, take down the 3rd town center, and then you find yourself having an advantage in this game. But Kimo too strong here, gets the dub, goes on to the next round. Congratulations to Kimo. Better luck next time for Count. If you enjoyed this game, please consider hitting the follow on the Twitch. If you're on the YouTube, hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you guys in the next game.